Okay, cool. Okay, so we're here, and we're here. All right, cool. All right, people. And as you know, this is Monday. We are live streaming from Colorado Springs this morning. And needless to say, it is going to look more spring-like today than anything. So I think our highs will be around the 60-degree mark. Beautiful. The mountains have no afros. And let's see. Squirrels are not chasing each other. Anyway, welcome to the Ktng morning show. Okay. I was waiting on Facebook. Connect here, so. Welcome to the Ktng morning show. Yes. Good morning. This is the Ktng Morning Show, and I'm your host of the most, with the mostest, as they would say. And you know how we spell this in the morning. It's Monday. Wake up, y'all crazy. I know it's good. Anyway, this is your host with the most, the man on both coasts, as they call it, the G to the R to the I to the T to the Z, ZSD underneath the 101 freeway. And for everybody that did not know, I'm going to make sure that you understand what kind of show you're in. So this is the host from the most, from the coast, with the best in the Midwest. Don't test, don't catch a dirt nap with a hole in your neck, that freak on the peak. All color vision and live on Facebook and YouTube. We got to start up for the week for you. So coffee up your tap for the laugh, because this is the Ktng Morning Show track. Morning, break your fast. Because the evolution of revolution is everyone's solution. Let's get it on and blast that ass. This is the future. That's right. The future of broadcasting, as we know it, will be coming from out of people's homes, called community broadcasting journalism. Anyway, let's get this day started. And remember, if you want freedom, open your mind and you know what price to pay to get it. Anyway, this is the Ktng Morning Show. I'm your host, the Grits Man here. And if you do know, we are in our phases of getting things done, which I think is pretty cool. So let's start with what they would call our moments in history. Since now that we are past the African mental liberation from diasporic mystery and Black History Month, we can now continue on to see what the hell is wrong with this planet. So let's see, this day in history, not important. Let's see, 1770, the Boston Massacre. And this is a lithograph. There's also this is the Boston Massacre. It takes place as British soldiers who had just been taunted by a crowd of colonists opened fire, killing 5 people. This is basically where Crispus Attucks, one of the leaders of the demonstration and one of the first 5 men killed in the gunfire of the British troops, as he was shot. So yeah, you know the picture. The brother man taking it right then and there in his face, that sort of thing. Let's see. In 1867, the Fenian Uprising in Ireland. And let's see, 1868, Court of Impeachment against President Andrew Johnson. Impeachment, people. That's a word you guys should keep in your vocabulary this week. Let's see, not important. Let's see, 1933 German federal elections is held, and I guess this is where Adolf Hitler ran supreme at this point. Let's see. In 1946, Winston Churchill delivers Iron Curtain speech. The only thing we have to fear is fear ourselves. All that crap. Let's see, 1953, Stalin dies. Elvis Presley is discharged from active duty in the army in 1960. The hula hoop is patented in 1963. Good years. Good revolutionary years. 1966, jet breaks up near Mount Fuji. Let's see, 1969, Jim Morrison is charged with lewd behavior at a Miami concert. I think I was extra in that film when the stage fell down. Let's see, 1977, Dial, a President radio program. Guile a president. Wow. Can't even get the, we got, nowadays it's called tweet a jackass. Okay, so if anything, let's get out here and see what the hell our famous cheeseburger is up to these days, along with the rest of the world as we see it. Or we know it at the particular point. If you are around the Facebook area here, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Come on, join the conversation. I love conversations and comments that appear on our feeds, both on YouTube and, as they would say, Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. Okay. Anyway, let's begin with our first series of stories here and see what you say and see what you say. Right? Because needless to say, it is the news. It is the news for what it is, and it's printed by somebody else. I just putting a different spin on it. So it becomes a little bit more palatable for all of us who are thinking below and below an IQ less than a cold light bulb. Anyway, let's see. From the Washington Post, Trump says American workers are hurt by immigration, but after ICE raids in this Texas town, they never showed up. Why? Let's find out. Okay. Not on the day of the big raid. Nothing leaked out. State police sealed highways in and out of town. ICE agents came with a fleet of empty buses and left with them full. Their target that day was the huge steam billowing beef plant on the high plains of Texas, on the Texas Panhandle. Meatpacking giants with a company. Quote, everyone on the production floor was shouting, La Migra. Monica Loya, a former plant worker, recalled, quote, there were people hiding behind machinery, in boxes, even in carcasses. Wow. So they're starting at the bottom end, Panhandle, Brownsville. Yeah, it's coming, Jack. Operation Wagon Train hit Swift and Company plants in 6 states in December of 2006, arresting nearly 1,300 workers in Tiny Cactus. 300 were taken into custody, about 10% of the town's population. It was the largest workplace raid in U.S. history. So because this is has nothing to do with any kind of sanctuary cities whatsoever throughout Texas, it appears, my friends, that some of y'all are going to be missing from work. So Cactus and surrounding Moore County have bounced back from the raid, and Plant today is once more thriving, shipping steaks to Walmart and hamburger meat to Burger King. Finding workers remains a perpetual struggle. JBS USA, a Brazilian conglomerate that now owns the plant, has raised starting wages by 25% in recent years. Other meat processing across the country. They survived by finding a different set of foreigners to do their jobs that used to be filled by illegal workers, refugees. There are Burmese meat cutters. Few years. Good morning, Maria Salsa. Good morning or good evening, wherever you are. Thank you, love. And these are Burmese meat cutters. A few years removed from refugee camps in Thailand and Malaysia. Truckers from Sudan, tall and strong, who specialize in drive down wages. Okay, well, basically that's because you have your corporate entities that are out there. Okay, well, we can get slave labor for less than minimum wage as long as we don't tell anybody. Nice. Okay, so in deep red, Moore County, where cheeseburger won 70% of the vote, the president's rhetoric on immigration has emboldened some of his supporters to freely vent their frustrations at the meatpacking plant. They blame for bringing crime, drugs, and civic decline. The corner of northern Texas has been culturally and economically transformed. They have never had an American president say the transformation was a bad thing. No. As long as we're making ourselves isolatory and appear to the rest of the world as just as fascist as anything else. I mean, there's more fascism in the United States than there is in Russia or communist China for that matter. Okay, and yet no one seemed to believe that Cactus plant would be filled anytime soon with American workers. People not even sure there were American jobs in the first place. At least not since the Vietnamese in Laotian showed up in the late 70s, a few years after the plant opened. Cactus wouldn't exist without the plant, says the city manager, Aldo Gallegos, who grew up in the town after his parents moved to Arizona in 1992 to work for Swift. He estimates that half of all Florida workers are refugees and that half are Latino, mostly immigrants. The plant did skip a beat, Gallegos said. Everybody got to eat steak. Wow. So here we have an instance where immigrants basically kept the corporation running, but a corporation decided otherwise, because it is a red state, to deport many of its illegal immigrants, about 1,300 of them. Okay, and my question here is this: if you're going to do that, and you're going to offer American jobs back to meat processing plants for Walmart and Burger King and everything else, then what significance does an American worker have when they go into these jobs, or refill these jobs, and make it so bad that you guys are trying to pay lower wages, same type of wages as those who are already working those jobs? I mean, are you going to deduct another 25% off of it, or are you guys going to just stay above water, so that way you're not fined by the federal government for slave wages? But it does tell mark this human strata that we are all living in right now, about how human beings are basically being treated in such a way because of the situation with DACA and their deadline, which is relatively today. Okay, so in that sense, there's going to be a lot more of these raids, a lot more of this diaspora that the Mexicans are basically going through. And why? Because there's an ethno-state practice being set up in many of the red states that is run. There are atrocious, hate groups out there that basically are supporting this fascist regime that we're in. So when it comes to fascism, let's just show you exactly what that means when it comes to the disparity of human lives and corporate interest. DACA deadline marks only inaction. We seen it 2 hours ago. It has been 6 months since your beloved El Presidente, the POTUS of the bloatus cheeseburger, moved to end a program that protected young undocumented immigrants from deportation. Washington seems to be no closer to a resolution of the day. Everything is supposed to be solved today. And you mean to tell me these overly rich, boisterous crackers have nothing to do with the imported slavery that they put in their plants, yet still they're going to allow ICE to raid their plants and say, we're going to give Americans back their jobs. What? Slave wages? Okay, here in Colorado, you can't keep white people in the damn job for too long, because for simple reason, there's too much bullshittery going on at the head of the office. So if anything, March 5th was originally conceived to be the deadline for sorts of actions. Cheeseburger ended the Deferred Action and Childhood Arrivals program in September. He created a 6-month delay to give Congress time to come up with a legislative version of the policy, which protected young undocumented immigrants who would come to the U.S. as children. What changes are there going to be made? Okay, is it going to be age restrictions, grandfather, or are they just basically going to say who they like and who they don't like? The Department of Homeland Security was going to renew 2-year DACA permits that expired before March 5th, and Monday was to be the day after permits began expiring for good. Okay. There's a lot of kids. Basically that I have visited and known at Compton Youthville. Okay, some of their parents are immigrants themselves. I'm not going to call them illegal. I call them immigrants with passion, who wanted to see their children grow and flourish instead of being shot or being hauled off as drug mules, or sold to child or human trafficking, for that matter. these people are risking like anywhere from like 15 to 20 grand to come up here and, find a life meaningful than a useless existence to be shot down because of territorial wars between a bunch of idiots who don't know the difference or value life at all, other than their own greed and their own necessitations for some sort of conquest in this game called drugs. Not to mention that we do have an opiate problem, but then again, hey, gotta blame. Let's see. No, you gotta blame George Bush for that one. George Bush and the NRA. That one. So there's an opiate crisis. Think about the places where you're like fighting for, and I wonder why poppy fields have still been under U.S. protection. Gotta love that. Anyway, but multiple federal judges ruled that the justification of Cheeseburger's administration was to terminate the program was shaky at best, and ordered the Department of Homeland Security to resume renewing all existing permits. Now, anything that's coming new, it's not going to happen. Anything that's coming like a year ago, that's not going to happen. No, they're not going to support those measures at all. So therefore, you're walking around with dead passes. That court intervention effectively rendered the March 5th deadline meaningless, impaired with the dramatic failure of the state Senate floor to pass legislative fix. The wind has mostly taken out of the sails of any potential compromise. Activists are still making Monday with demonstrations and advocacy programs and campaigns. Hundreds of DACA supporters are expected to descend on Washington to push for action. Now, being that you guys are going to push on the march to Washington and everything, I would suggest that you at least walk around the body of the dead guy who tried to shot himself at the front of the White House steps, not realizing that Cheeseburger was in Key Largo, Margo, whatever the fuck that damn place is. Oh yeah, the hotel that barely gets used, and you have a whole bunch of like senior citizens and lower middle class people living around the areas complaining that the hotel is nothing more than an eyesore. But it's a great place for Russian collusion. There you go. Anyway, it is kind of funny though. That in between all of this, we're looking at DACA failing. Now I'm gonna have to put the blame where it belongs. See, your boys George Bush and Obama left all that information on the table and did nothing with it. So you mean for 16 years, this has been sitting on the table, and it now falls in the hands and the proverbial lap of the devil himself. And you're asking for clemency, you're asking for humanity, and you're asking for the sympathy of this country to actually allow you to stay in this country. When you know full well Satan is sitting in the White House. What possible motive of clarity in the DACA situation is ever going to come from a jackass who tweets how much he hates everybody else except for himself? Okay? Richest president in the United States. You mean to tell me we are that damn stupid? Apparently. Okay? Apparently. Because this DACA thing is going to like bleed into the entire week. So I would prepare yourselves to actually like sit up and listen to it and understand what it's going through and what effect it lies on your friends, your neighbors, your acquaintances, the people who help you, the people who basically have cleaned up hotel rooms and everything else and rebuilt, housing. Immigrants have been doing this now for a set of decades at this point, and we are still terrified. We are still, as a nation, we are still terrified of the color of people's skins. How? By blatant arrogance? That's the only way that you can cope. If that's the way that you can cope with blatant arrogance and so forth, then you are ignorant to the probable solution, which is that if everybody dies, excuse me, but this black dirt being thrown in your face, or you turn into ash, one or the other. Now, Now, there is no segregation in heaven as much as people like to religiously believe that, follow that dictum. But here's the funny part. When you see everybody else, you know, in heaven and so forth that are of different shades of color and different heights and different types of people and so forth, then guess what? Whatever your core values were that were instilled in you through your peer group, through your social environment, through your home where your parents are living at and so forth, all of that was garbage. You know that it was garbage. Straight garbage. Now, there's plenty of segregation in hell because we got Satan sitting in the White House right now. There's not a damn thing anybody doing. I have to give props to the homeboy who shot himself in the White House because, one, he was only a few steps closer to getting into the White House and taking up what I called last week, and I'll call for an assassination on this jackass. Okay. I mean, dude. If you're gonna do it, I guess 9 times 10 he tried to make himself a self-martyr in this whole thing, and it really kind of like unnerves a lot of people to say that your Secret Service is not that swift, are they? Can't be where they're supposed to be all the time now, can they? That man just showed everybody right then and there that yes, that fool is accessible. You can kill him if you can. But I'm gonna make myself a martyr to let you know that gun violence has to do with nothing about the gun. It's the violent intent of the person who has it in their hand. What do they mean to do? Do they mean life, give life, spare life, show empathy, or are they basically out there to show as a point that guns don't kill people, people kill people? Oh my! Have we come to that realization since the invention of the gun? Possibly. Though we pride ourselves on our intellect above all other creatures on this planet, we're the only dominant species that finds relaxation in our slaughter. Okay. We do. Come on. People that basically have like large numbers of people being slaughtered or anything like that, mostly were immigrants in foreign countries. For example, Jewish immigrants that showed up in Germany were systematically murdered. Okay, just like that. They didn't have a DACA. Okay. So March 23rd is the next government funding deadline, and some lawmakers have suggested that they may try to use the passed and packaged funding bills as a point of leverage. Now, when it comes to their funding deadline, there are going to be some social programs that aid immigrants that are going to be basically shut down. And as those shutdowns do come through, a lot of services that are there that are nonprofit, that depend on state and federal funding, will see a complete drop percentage-wise in the available funds that are available from the government. I mean, as taxpayers, we pay for a lot of this stuff. We don't mark it off as, say, an expense to charity whatsoever on our tax form. But here, we have something that's basically taking the effort of so many activists and so many advocacy groups out of their hands and saying, you are no longer in control of the population. We are, and we determine how many people actually live here and what types of people. So if we're so busy creating a fascist ethno state in this country, then obviously there needs to be an adjustment. There needs to be an adjustment in mentality. Blind to it, and you keep seeing it and you keep ignoring it, it will continue to happen. Okay? And for reasons why that does happen like that is because we have become complacent. And as long as we're complacent to, government ramshotting, as I would say it, and subterfuge and skullduggery and everything else that's evil, then does your vote count? That's one of the reasons why we go out and vote. People vote for the simple reason so we get the right person in, and not just based on a sales pitch, not just based on his ignorance, not just based on his barroom bullshit. Okay, you people have a problem. Okay, and I identify with that problem because I see it every day. So we see it every day. We see it on the faces of people. I see it in the souls of people. What we're doing here in this country is wrong. Okay? what we're doing in this country is wrong. If we are so busy trying to, you know, create an ethno state of existence in this country, that would lead to an inevitable race war. Now, wouldn't it? Well, then again, of course, say 2/3 of your military is not white as it used to be, isn't it? Ooh, yeah. Lots of us, lots of them, lots of everybody else in your white armed forces. Anyway, it's going to look bad here for Doc between now and March 23rd. It is, in my opinion, okay, and this is separate from anything else that I've basically said. I believe that it is in my opinion, and the opinion of other people out there that I can't speak for, but I will speak for myself here, that when it comes to the perpetual stasis of racism in this country, we lead the world in human rights and civil rights abuse on a day-to-day basis. And if you turn on your news, look it up. Just look at the news today and see what you get. Okay? Now, some of it may be viable homicides by the police department and shooting up gang members and idiots who are basically out there committing all kinds of stupidity. But think of it. The majority of them, damn sure ain't white either, are they? I don't think so. So, anyway, we're at the halfway point here, people. This is KTNG860am.org, and we are zooming and grooving. I think that's it. Oh crap! Where are you? Oh crap! Anyway. I like what I do. Anyway, let's see what we got here. This is KTNG860 AM. You know us in the morning for our specific jam on series and so forth. We do what we can do here, but most importantly, we do this for you. Okay, obviously this thing. Oh, okay, so that's what. All right, so let's get rid of a few of these. Let's get rid of this damn thing here, and get rid of that because that's boring. And let's gross. Let's get rid of that. That's boring. That's definitely boring. And do we have a 7? No, we do not have a 7 at all. All right, so we'll take you here. Get rid of you. And there we go. Okay, cool. All right, sorry about that. Realign my configuration here. Yeah. So we're operating on Sam's broadcast level, and therefore this is KTNG860 AM in the morning. This is the KTNG Morning Show, and I'm the Grits Man here at your halfway point. That's right. In the morning, the freak that just loves to speak. Yes. And I talk about today's news and all the blues and so forth, and try to put a spin on it so this way you can understand it, or either find some way of laughing at the complete incomplexities of how we screw things up and try and fix it with damn band-aids. Wow. I tell you, it cracks me up tonight, man, that when I make mention of stuff like this, and then all of a sudden I see the end result. Which is everybody throwing up their hands going, hooey bluey. We don't know what to do. And that's precisely what the problem is. People don't know what to do. People that are in power basically do not have all their answers or shit together. Really, they don't. They're just like you and me. They put on their pants and their clothes, they eat breakfast and fart and piss all over everything, just like we do. Just like every normal human being does. We're flesh bags. Come on. You know what we are. You're going to have questions from the American public that are supposed to be working these jobs. Okay? And the only reason why there are going to be questions is because, one, most of the employees who have to come back to do those jobs are going to want higher wages. And if they drive up higher wages, that means they drive up higher prices on their products, and the taxes go up as well. And guess what? Ooh, can we say deficit? Can we say what the It's a good word for that. Can we say economic strangulation? I guess that's pretty much in there. Anyway, what it all boils down to in this DACA situation is this: that if we don't find clemency for not only the Mexican immigrant but all the other immigrants that seem to be coming through Mexico, that are coming from out of Africa, that are coming from out of South America, that are coming from out of Canada, that are coming from out of the Asian Pacific Rim, people like that and so forth that are coming through. They're not marked highly in this tabloid society that we have against Mexicans because for the simple reason Donald Trump or Cheeseburger made it apparent to say and tweet things of that nature. He has tweeted and said a lot of things about people of color that most presidents don't get away with because they have tact and they understand social responsibility. Here you have a freaking idiot whose only comments of any comments of golden reproach or reprise to anything that Obama did at this particular point has been nothing more than nothing but more pure. Okay. No wonder none of the sports figures wants to visit the White House. Because the devil in there, right there, is right there. Who would want to be Satan? Nobody. Okay, nobody. Anyway, I got to pick up on this story here and so forth because I think this basically just covers the fact that people are getting a little bit tired of jackass running the country into the ground. So here we are, from Kathleen Joyce, Fox News. Fake news. Okay, man dead after shooting himself out of White House. Authorities confirmed. And let's see. Authorities said a man who shot himself outside the White House Saturday has died. Secret Service announced that the quote-unquote white male who suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head along with North White House fence line has died. So, and here we are wondering out of complete comparison to the color of our community in the United States. There was nobody Mexican, there was nobody black, there was nobody Asian. Definitely nobody Asian is going to be sit up and blow your brains out in front of the White House. No. They're too busy taking over the world with electronics, as you can see. Okay. So basically, the Secret Service confirmed there were no other injuries, and it appears none of the gunshots targeted the White House. The guy basically went there to make a point. Gun control. Gun violence. Who are we putting these guns in? Never mind if you're trying to... See, the NRA just sidestepped the entire issue and said, okay, we're going to just make the age restriction for getting a gun higher. When Dick's Sporting Goods basically says we're not carrying any kind of automatic guns or any kind of guns in our shops anymore. That put a sting to the NRA. They hate that. They hate the fact that the representatives are windless meat bags of funk that ain't trying to like come up to the realizations of asking their political people, the lobbyists, who they lobby as far as political power in Washington and as well as the state and local communities. My assessment of that is that if they're basically looking for pandering votes and so forth, it doesn't matter if they legally say that you can't buy a gun at 21. It's garbage. If you are in the streets, you can get a gun anywhere. If you find a gun, the bottom of a lake, clean it up, you have a gun. If you're around a crime scene, before the cops get there and there's a throwout, yes, you have a gun. The instances of those happening are 35% in the United States, and that's the reason why the crime rate is so freaking high, bunch of idiots. You're all thinking about the legal ramifications of the NRA. What about the underground implications? Why don't we ask the NRA this? How many guns are legally in circulation throughout the United States that have not been cataloged, marked, or anything of that nature? Then ask yourself, how many people have these guns? 9 times out of 10, you'll find that most of the bad guys have these things laying around the house somewhere, or they find them. The bad hombres. Yeah. I'm talking about the ones in the 3-piece suits, people. Okay. These are the people who basically make the laws who govern your lives and tell you exactly how to live, and in the case, proving a precipice of how you should die. And the best way to die is to Have some yogurt. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. I know I get a little stupid here. But it's a good thing. Anyway. The individual basically. See your boy Cheeseburger was at Mar-a-Lago, my ego. Anyway, the Secret Service confirmed that no member of the first family was at the White House when the incident occurred. The White House reporters were put on lockdown in the press briefing room following reports on the shooting. And nonetheless, it is always very difficult. It's always very difficult. Again. Okay. Again, guns again. Okay. Problem here is not just it's just the manufacturing, the over manufacturing of weapons, public destruction. There are new weapons that the military are basically using, and 9 times out of 10, when it becomes a point where there is suppression of the people's voices through military means, those things will be turned against you. They have what is it? A rapid repeating shotgun shells, but they also shells that can go through, say, like a 1/4 inch of steel, or pretty much put a dent in, say, like a $25,000 bar of copper. Okay, there are weapons that are going to wind up in the locals, at least that are military grade. For some stupid reason, we think that's not going to happen. I forgot to tell you guys about what happened in Missouri when they rolled in with like a whole bunch of military gear. Now they have things that are basically make you sick to your stomach. If that's not an indication, then why don't we ask people that are coming from out of Cuba, from off that military base or that enclave that we have down there, for some stupid reason, why are these people getting sick all of a sudden? Okay? Sound waves are coming in, strange sounds are coming in, and people are getting sick in Cuba, and now they fly them back. And guess what? It's happening here. Yes. Oh my God. It just never happens. It just never gets any better, does it? We gotta get away from the gloom and woe is me bullshit. Okay, obviously that's not doing nothing but making your foundation looking a little sloppy. Now, if you really want to up jump the boogie and so forth, we'll take up the premise of power and make sure that your communities thrive, such as buy land, by the court system, by the police department, by your own media. Simple people. But you gotta come together and work toward that, and stop worried about leadership responsibility, because obviously the person who's called this whole thing together and asked everybody to show up at their house is a pretty capable leader. All right. And therefore, as they would say, agenda should be enforced. If we want political power to make sure that we get the candidates in that we need to not only accentuate human rights, but also rights of fetuses, rights of life and liberty and respect in the pursuit of happiness. If we have any type of respect for that, then needless to say, we would not be walking around here acting like a bunch of fucking overly hormoned jackasses whose only conquest at this particular point is their next feel-good session. Just does not look good. Now does it? No. Not at all. Anyway, on to the more reasons why we need military hardware to quell our rioting people. Because here it is again. 12 hours ago in Panama. We're gonna love this story. Thugs, leeches, shouting and shoving at Cheeseburger Hotel in Panama. Okay, so the Trump International, this is from the New York Times, by the way. Trump International Hotel and Tower here is President Sloppy Jalopy Cheeseburger, only hotel property in Latin America at 70 stories. It is the tallest building in Panama, offers sweeping views of Panama Bay, and features 5 outdoor swimming pools. The rooms come with Trump-branded bathrooms, stationery, and mouthwash. No wonder Melania don't want to be around his ass, because he's using his own brand of mouthwash. Nasty. What is it? Dog do with la poo? Something like that. I don't know. But in recent days, guests have witnessed a decidedly less glamorous side of the operation. Yelling and shoving matches involving security personnel and others. The presence of police in Kevlar helmets. Various interventions by Panamanian labor regulators, forensic specialists, and justices of peace. What's going on? Well, the businessman who recently purchased a majority stake in the hotel wants the cheeseburgers out. And the cheeseburgers, who have a long-term contract to manage the property, are refusing to go. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, Panama, near the Panama Canal, where the Mexican-American War was happening. All these goofball things, and you're not too far away from Gitmo if you're living around the area. But in a marked letter to private and confidential to the hotel's owners, the businessman Ortiz Ventikilis likened the cheeseburgers to leeches who are attached to the property, draining the last drops of blood. According to the copy reviewed by the New York Times, he has also filed legal actions accusing the cheeseburger family business, the cheeseburger organization, of mismanaging the hotel. Now, is that not an indicative nomenclature to his inability to actually run a business? Keep in mind, people, this man has been bankrupt more times than there are pennies out on the fucking floor when you throw him in a doggone Vegas strip club. Okay? And if you're cheap, too, 9 times out of 10. But here's the thing. These guys are slumlords. I've been telling you guys this from day one. The man was a complete slumlord. He just hangs on to the property. He doesn't do anything to it. And if that's any indication of it, then what the hell happened with the Russian collusion in New York? When 3 floors are bought out by the Russian mob, to prove that there is collusion. Alrighty. So for the past week, Panama's public ministry said it was looking into whether there had been any punishable conduct in the dispute, which means that an arm of a foreign government finds itself in an extraordinary position of investigating a business owned by an American president. 7 years ago, at the hotel's grand opening, the president of Panama at the time joined Cheeseburger in extolling the property. Oh yes, oh it's fabulous, it's this, it's that, it's a bag of chips that ain't crumbled. That's what it is. Panama City was then awash with international investors and a booming economy, earning the nickname Dubai of Latin America. Oh, how quickly we forget. Alan Gardner, the Trump Organization's chief officer, said that Cheeseburger had no role in the current dispute. But his name is on the freaking building. His name is on the bath towels. His name is all over the place. Even the fucking mouthwash. Ugh. Okay? What does it do? It makes your hair go orange? I don't know. But the Panamanian misadventures have become the family business's biggest headaches at the time when his founder is in the White House, and every move and woe is magnified across the planet. Business is also showing other signs of receding. The Cheeseburger organization last year agreed to buy out deals that removed the name once prized properties in New York and Toronto. So what does that tell you? Why in the hell would anybody in their right mind move into or stay at a hotel that's only worth $800,000? Yet idiot buys it for $1 million, and now he's raking in the money for it if anybody shows up. Remember, we have this travel ban going on. Anyway, point I'm back in here is real simple. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter how much money you've earned or how much money you will make. Fact of the matter is, somebody is controlling the damn dollar that you have in your pocket on a day-to-day basis. I'd say the majority of you woke to that realization. But how about the other realization? The other realization that you, as a consumer, have no say-so on how you wish to live. You want to pamper yourself from all the excuses that your parents had to grow up with. We didn't have this, we didn't have this. But you got everything. You got access. You got access, and you don't know what to do but other than keep yourselves entertained on bullshit. Yeah, you do. Come on. If you're so religiously into your phone, how many times out of the day are you playing a game? If you're so religiously into your computer, how many methods of entertainment can you get from out of it? Lots, total lots. As long as you fall for the entertainment and so forth, you're falling for the world's greatest distraction from the entertainment industry, which is the promotion of self. You do that with those little selfies and everything, all you're doing is perpetuating an ego that is so fragile. It doesn't take long for, or doesn't take long for brights or tweens, for that matter, to figure it out, bust your bubble. That's what I'm here to do. Bust the bubble of your satanic worship. Okay, straight up. All right, so let's end this thing with some good news today. And I don't know if this is contradictory good news or this is good news in a way that says, right idea or wrong execution. Anyway, 2 days ago, from CBC-CA, Alberta man offers to share his quote-unquote stolen land with a First Nations family. Okay, now, as you know, Columbus did not discover America. He was basically exiled by the Queen of Spain for stealing 3 ships and coming back with less than half. He came up short to the dope man, so he did not discover America. America Vespucci is the Italian who the place is named for on both ends of the world, North and South America. Get it right, people. Fix your fucking history. And not only that, and of course, needless to say, it started the wave of the Eurocracy that has enslaved the land just from that point on. So when I hear of someone sharing stolen land back to the Indians, that almost says, what is the contradiction? What is the contradiction? Okay, so let's follow this story. Okay, so here's a guy who basically has posted an open invitation for First Nation families to share his 5-acre property. Now, 5 acres is not a lot, but it is quite substantial, and it does allow people, say like a small group of anywhere from 10 to 15 people to actually live on. But you have to be specific on the dimensions that you build your shit first and foremost. So quote, he goes, "We want to share a tiny piece of stolen land with a First Nations family and find freedom and self-sufficiency together." Now, there is an idea. People acting like neighbors. Sharing. Can we say this? There is love. Oh my God. His fifth pitch ends with, if you are indigenous, have kids, are clean and sober, and want to be free on the land, we have a home here for you. No rent, no bills, just live free. Isn't that a great concept? Wouldn't that be a great concept for all the nation's people out here in the United States? Wouldn't it be a great concept for everybody that's basically living in poverty? That sort of thing, to live free. Guess we all want to live free. Oldenburg lives near Barhead, Alta, which is about 100 kilometers northwest of Edmonton. He said he was inspired to share his land and his resources after witnessing the backlash stemming from the acquittal earlier this month of the Saskatchewan farmer Gerald Stanley accused in the killing of the First Nations man, Colton Boushie. Seeing racist commentary towards First Nations breaks out online to take action. He says, "I have always been treated with kindness and shown how good First Nation people are." He also says he attended a healing ceremony at Boushy's home community of Red Pheasant First Nation in Saskatchewan a few years ago while undergoing treatments for hepatitis C. Quote, "The other Canada is very cold and racist. It's uncomfortable. I want to express that not all Canadians feel that way toward Indigenous people." Well, damn. That's like you got a pass to go through there. Just like we give white people a pass out here. Mistakenly. Oldenburg said he has long acknowledged that Canada is, quote unquote, really all stolen land. Even his own property that he's worked hard for. It's still about another 20 years until it's paid off. Okay, first that's crazy, right? First you steal the land and then you rent it out. And those who are renting out won't be able to own it any damn way. But he goes on to say that injustice toward First People stems from land thefts by governments and settlers, even by his ancestors. Now he wants to do his part to try to make things right. I hope his ideals will one day become a model for others to follow. Okay, that's nice and everything. Mr. Homework, I really appreciate your efforts and everything, and I wish the the placid majority here would actually take note of what you're doing. Sure, we got Indians on reservations, but are they happy? Are their infrastructures built? Are their communities thriving? Never mind the fact that everybody sits there and says, well, they gotta be thriving. They got India casinos and they're charging like, 1,000% on their Indian loans and da-da-da-da-da. No. I'm talking about good health. I'm talking about, is there good mental health coming from out of these that have been placed in so many weird ways. What this man is doing basically is erasing the foundation of racism in Canada, one speck. So one sand speck at a time, one grain of sand at a time. And we can't even do that here because what? Our racism is tied to our economic premise. Sure as shit is. Think about it, people. Sure, they like you and dancing, but when you start coming up with smart questions and answers, then they are threatened. They're totally threatened. So if that's going to be the case, we got to give Holmberg, a big round of applause, a stand-up guy who basically says, we can repair, we can reparate these damages that we have done to First Nation peoples as well as all ethnic people on this planet. Our propaganda, our way of going about trying to put an enemy sticker on somebody that is basically of color. See, now begins the real part of this spora of black and brown history in this country. It keeps going. Now it's red display. Oh yes. You can't get your land back, but somebody's going to basically make sure that you get free access to it. I think that's pretty good. 5 acres. You get to live for free, no rent, no bills. Hell yeah, I go for it in a heartbeat. I got something coming. I'm 180 millionth Indian, somewhere in there. Indian or India? I don't know. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Dr. Darn, good morning, sir. Good morning. I will see what your project is and so forth. See if we can get some help with that as well. Anyway, next month, people, we're doing our broadcast for, oh my God, what was it? We're doing our broadcasting for basic population. In other words, we're going to be scoping out a huge section of the Springs and Denver, Colorado, and we're going to do marketing at that particular point, so that way we can jump up our numbers.